When you dial 911, you expect to hear a voice on the other end of the line immediately, right? But NBC7 Investigates discovered the people on the other end of those calls often cannot pick up fast enough. As you can see, Alexis Rivas joining us here in the studio. And when every second matters, really these delays, Alexis, can be the difference between life and death.
Yeah, it's scary to imagine that, right? Not getting help in your moment of need, but that's the reality one family has to live with for the rest of their lives.
This picture is my dad and me. It's always one of my favorites.
You'd think having a police detective as a dad would have been tough. Laura Munson says that's not who Bob Reinhart was.
He's a very good dad, a very loyal husband to my mom, very faithful to the family my whole life. And it's hard to not have him here.
He was here 2 years ago with her mom at her home in Ramona. Laura was working remotely one morning while her folks were in the guest house.
When did you first realize something was off?
Right as I was ending my meeting, I looked down and I saw I missed a call from my mom.
Her dad was unconscious, and her mother had called 911 twice without luck.
My mom was sitting next to him trying to get help, and they weren't picking up. I think that's very sad.
So in lieu of an ambulance, Laura's family drove her dad to the hospital themselves, a 45-minute drive.
I saw my dad slumped over in the back seat, and they just sped off.
Her father died later that day.
I've always kind of thought as 911 being there if you needed them. And I don't want to fault anybody, but that was crazy in a desperate moment, not having 911 pick up or be available.
NBC7 Investigates searched through records of individual 911 calls made during Laura's father's emergency. We found 2 calls that matched the time frame. One went unanswered for 1 minute and 54 seconds. Another for 36 seconds.
No, I don't feel good about those scenarios. I don't think anybody would feel good about the scenario you just painted.
Brian Fonts is the CEO of the National Emergency Number Association. It's the group that sets national standards for 911 call centers. Under those standards, dispatchers should answer 90% of all 911 calls within 15 seconds.
If it's 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, or a minute, I'm very concerned.
Calls from Laura's home in Ramona get directed here to the San Diego County Sheriff's Office. Data we got from the county shows her mother's calls weren't the only ones left waiting too long.
In 2023, the county's 911 center only answered 70% of calls within 15 seconds. And last year, only 66% of callers reached a human being within 15 seconds.
For me personally, it's something I think about all the time.
Jeff Hebert is one of 3 managers who oversee the county's 911 dispatch center.
So this is the supervisor platform.
They get more than 700,000 911 calls a year. That's about 2,000 a day.
Why are we not meeting the standards for answering calls within 15 seconds or 20 seconds?
It all comes down to staffing.
A fully staffed center should have 123 workers. Right now, there are less than 100 dispatchers, and more than a quarter of them can't answer any calls yet.
You just use the drop down.
Because they're still in this classroom, training, a process that takes more than a year. That leaves our county's 911 call center running with just 58% of the people it needs to answer calls.
Okay, what's he wearing?
It's actually a much lower number than we'd like to see, and it's lower than what we've seen in the last several years.
How concerned are you?
Extremely concerned. We obviously want to answer every single phone call in a timely manner where a caller doesn't have to wait.
If anything escalates, give us a call back.
Hebert says they get plenty of candidates and pay pretty well for a job that only requires a high school diploma, $35 an hour on day 1 of training. But he says some applicants can't pass a criminal background check. Others drop out during training.
Young people don't grow up dreaming to be a dispatcher answering 911 calls and dispatching law enforcement and medics, etc.
As the daughter of a cop, Laura respects what dispatchers do, but hopes there's a solution on the horizon.
Why is it important to fix this?
Because it can be life or death.
So no other family will have to wonder.
Is there anything else the doctors could have done? Could the ambulance have helped? I wonder all these things. I do.
So one important thing to know, if you call 911 and it doesn't immediately get answered, do not hang up. If you do that and you try to call back, you'll get pushed to the back of the line, and that call that you dropped is still ahead of you. So you're behind yourself.
Oh yeah, that is not a good situation. Clearly the county knows there's a problem here. Can you talk about what they're doing to try and fix it?
Yeah, so they're trying to add some remote working jobs, and they're also trying really hard to recruit the next generation directly from high schools in our county. Something the county isn't doing, but that they say would really help, is adding some extra compensation for odd shifts, so like weekend shifts or night shifts.
All right.
Nationally, the industry has also been pushing to change the dispatcher job classification from clerical to public safety. So here's why that matters. It would give dispatchers better retirement options. They want that because A, they feel it's more accurate considering the trauma they deal with, but also because it would be a huge hiring incentive.
Yeah, and it's not an easy job either, so you can see why they would say that. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Alexis. Well, the Sheriff's Office also says non-emergency calls put a huge strain on the system, which make up about a third of the calls that they get. Each one delays a dispatcher from helping with a legitimate emergency.